Hi all, Jenny Butterfield here of Jenny Butterfield Designs. Long time no see. I haven't done any Facebook videos in a while, or any videos at all, and that's just because I felt like it was getting stale. I felt like I was showing you guys the same things over and over, and I was getting boring, I think, for both of us. So I took a break, and now I'm back, and today I would like to try something new and fun. You guys let me know what you think about it. I'm gonna design jewelry. We're gonna design some jewelry together. And if I'm doing anything interesting in my studio, I'll bring you guys down there and show you what I'm doing. But we're gonna talk about jewelry design instead. So today I'm gonna be, well, I haven't done any work, disclaimer, I haven't done any work on this before this video. I might regret that. This is an experiment. I might do things differently in the future. But I haven't done any work on this so far. Today we're gonna design an amulet against the coronavirus. And disclaimer, do I think a piece of jewelry will literally stop you from getting coronavirus or COVID-19? No. I think washing your hands and having some common sense are the best tools against the coronavirus. However, stress and thinking about disease and things like that, those things, negative energy and stress actually lower your immune system. And in my mind, an amulet is a modern tool to help you improve your mindset. These are things you wear every day to help you think of certain things, help you keep certain thoughts present in your mind instead of getting distracted by the negativity or the stress. So with that in mind, I would like to design an amulet against coronavirus to help us all think healthy thoughts, healthy, hopeful thoughts. And so let's do that. So I have my sketchbook and I have my phone, otherwise known as my Googler, because when I start designing, I just like start looking at things to help me get an idea about things I like, things I might want to incorporate. And just so you know, I think I'm going to do this, I'm going to do each design in two parts. The research part, which this is, and then next week I'll come back with a finished sketch and we'll talk about it, and you guys can give me some feedback. So let's get started. Amulet Against the Coronavirus. These are two books that I use when I'm designing for a client who has specific symbolic needs in mind. Not everyone believes in crystals as medicinal or powerful. Some people do, some people don't. I generally refer to these, I'm in the middle. I could go either way, to be fair. But I generally find that the stones that correspond symbolically are the ones that end up looking the prettiest in the design anyway. So it usually works out just fine. So let's start looking. I usually start in the index. So I want to look for stones that are protective, because we want to be protected. Let's see. Past lives. Protective stones. Protection against crime, protection against danger, against enchantment. Layouts. Okay, I don't see anything specific to like medicinal protection. So let's start looking generally and see if we find anything interesting. The page 240 caught my eye, so let's just start with, there are lots of protective stones. I'm just starting on page 240 because the book told me there's a protective stone on that page. Smoky quartz, very nice. Smoky quartz would be nice, but not necessarily really pretty. Let's see, 256. There's sapphires on that page. Royal sapphires eliminate negative energies from the chakras. I'm not sure what a royal sapphire is. I can't tell you I've ever come across one. And this is where my Googler comes out because I'm not sure what to tell you a royal sapphire is. So let's Google royal sapphire. Royal sapphire is a fragrance for men, just in case you didn't know. I think in this case, they're referring to a sapphire that is very saturated in color. Yeah. Okay, so a royal sapphire is one that's really deep in color. So just in case you didn't know, sapphires come in a lot of different colors. Pretty much every color in the rainbow. Red sapphires tend to be the rarest. And at least in people's minds, blue sapphires are the most common. And but even in each color in the spectrum, there are varying, why can't I think of the word, saturation. So some are really light in color and some are really saturated and deep in hue. So a royal sapphire is a sapphire that's very saturated in color. So since we're playing and cost isn't a factor when we're just imagining things together, let's use a royal sapphire in our design because that sounds like fun. So let me just read you the whole shebang. Royal sapphire eliminates negative energies from the chakras and stimulates the third eye to access information for growth. The stone teaches responsibility for your own thoughts and feelings. It treats brain disorders, including dyslexia. And again, I have not tested whether or not these claims are true. These are just fun things to think about. Because of course, like brain disorders and dyslexia, that's not really something we're particularly after. However, I like the thought of taking responsibility for our own thoughts and actions and reactions to what people are saying or thinking. I think that would be a great, oh, sorry. I touched my tripod there. I think that would be a great tool to have in an amulet whenever you're catching yourself thinking negative thoughts and you see this beautiful royal sapphire, you're like, I can change how I think. So I think that would be really useful. So I'm going to make a note of that. I have my handy dandy sketchbook here. I'm going to make a note, royal sapphire. Okay, so now we have one piece of our design. Let's do a little more searching and try and figure out what we want this thing to actually look like. I personally am thinking pendant, just because in my mind amulets are usually pendants. If anyone wants to argue with me about that, please do. Okay, so we're still kind of after protection, so I'm going to Google protection symbols and see if anything interesting comes up. Oh, if I could spell, that'd be great. Okay, so what comes up? Some Egyptian symbols, some Celtic symbols. And at this point, I'm just scrolling through to see if anything visually catches my eye. And then if I see, like, this looks interesting. Let me click on this. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. Now see, this looks really interesting to me. It's called the Namedwa tree. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Let me see. Yeah, you guys can see that pretty well. So the description under this says God's presence and protection. And I think that is a really interesting symbol to consider because everyone's afraid right now and freaking out. So it would be nice to have a symbol close at hand to think, not necessarily related to any religion, but a symbol close at hand that helps us remember that, hey, there are larger forces at work that can protect us. Let's keep that close at mind. So I'm going to write this down and keep that in mind. I'm losing all my screens here. Also, I think this symbol would be a beautiful and easy one to incorporate in metal. I'm seeing some layering going on in my head that I think would be pretty spectacular. Let me just go back to the visual search one more time and take a look around because I really do enjoy that symbol we just found together. Another interesting, has anyone, has anyone ever seen labyrinths? They're usually in gardens. Sometimes they're visual and on paper, but the idea is there's only one way in and one way out, and your journey to the center is all about unwinding the negative thought you're having, and the journey out is all about emerging and becoming new again. That would be another really interesting symbol to incorporate. I'm just going to write that one down too. So this is pretty much what the process looks like when this is actually behind the scenes. Like normally I would have a conversation with a client about what they want, and uh, so my hypothetical client in this case wants an amulet against the coronavirus to help her have more positive thoughts. So I think this is a great place to part ways, just because I really do think the royal sapphire and then the symbol I just showed you, which I will learn how to pronounce for next week, are a really great starting point. I'll be able to present you guys with a really interesting sketch next week so you have an idea about what this thing might look like. And again, I know it's hard because we're talking, not talking, but that's why next week I'll bring you back with a sketch and it'll make more sense because the things I talked about will come together visually and you'll be able to see what I was thinking instead of just hearing about it and be like, what did you talk about? So let's part ways for today. I would love to hear your thoughts about what kind of designs you might like to see in the future or ideas about how I can communicate more clearly with you via video without a sketch. So if you have any ideas for either, I would be very happy to hear about it. Again, Jenny Butterfield of Jenny Butterfield Designs. Let me know what you're thinking. And that's all for today. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.